Okay, we're back tonight. Got the flywheel on, got this rear engine tint on, breather hose on, got the fuel lines hooked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get you in here. If you can see, we're gonna work on the front crank pulley. So I looked all around for a torque, and apparently nobody will commit to one. So let's see if I can pop this thing off here, because I did read one of these things that you should silicone the washer behind it so you won't have oil leaking through it, because I guess oil can come through the crank bolt and spew everywhere. So I was hoping I could pop this thing off here, and we can go ahead and do that real quick. Of course, I'm sure it'll disagree with me. Let me get another screwdriver. That'll work. I think it moved. All right, so there's the pulley. So I took the pulley, put a little bit of RTV on that face, put some oil on the sealing surface lip, line everything up, slide it on. I went ahead and also put silicone with a slight tiny layer across the face of the nut and the washer that goes against it, and then just lightly tapped it on. Okay, so it's on there finally. I'm going to put a screwdriver back here on the back side on the ring gear, and we can go ahead and tighten this thing up. Now, of course, I'm wrestling with it a little bit, but again, there's no torque spec for this, so I've read like 40 foot-pounds, but we're gonna, all right, I think that's probably good, and it's self-tightening, so it's not gonna go anywhere. So what we're gonna do next, so we'll go ahead and get ready. I'll get the engine crossbar rounded up and put on there, but before we put this back in, I got a new engine sound pad to go in here. I don't know how well you can see any of this. Hang on, let me get the light. So to keep noise out of the interior, there's foam padding up here on what you would call, I guess, the firewall, but it's like the deck lid, parcel shelf, whatever, the inside of the car is in there. So what I had done back when I had this apart the last time is I got some J.C. Whitney foam covered, foil covered stuff. And that, I mean, that's been in there 20 years, so it kind of disintegrated. But what I was concerned about was the foil coming off and getting sucked into the fan. So what I'm going to do is I actually bought a new genuine Porsche, and when I did it, I ended up piecing all this together. So I got a genuine Porsche latest and greatest pad, so we're going to go ahead and get that put in here, and we'll get this engine compartment cleaned up. So I'll try to get you a better vantage point, better view of this, and then we'll get that ripped out and get the new one in there and glued in. All right. I don't even remember how I attached all this stuff back in the day, but we're gonna try to get it all out of here and try to get it glued in. The glue worked pretty well, whatever it was. So. This piece, I obviously pieced in from multiple pieces because there's little chunks in here like that, and that's really gooey. So we're gonna pull all this out of here. And I'm gonna try to pull the side pieces out because I made them. Apparently I used the old stuff as a template and cut them all in one piece and then use what I have left to do this part. So I'm going to try to get some of this junk off here and get the side pieces out in one piece, and then we'll bring it back when we put everything back together and we cut our new pieces. Okay, so it's the next day. I've pulled all the stuff out of here and unbolted the voltage regulator and some grounds that are over on that side, and we're trying to get all the pieces of foam and stuff out of here. So far I have found the best way to do that is these little fiber, I guess it's a paint stripper. It seems to knock the foam off, so I'll show you real quick. I've done a lot of it already. I don't want to bore you to death either, but I've also raised the car to be able to get in here a little easier. So, looks like most of it's out of there. Go touch up a little more and wipe that down and get all these pieces of foam and stuff out of my hair and off my face. And then we'll commence to getting our new pieces ready and get them installed. Alright, got everything cleaned. Got this piece of insulation for the sides. I didn't want to buy the Porsche sides because they're like twice the cost of the whole pad. So I've taken the foil, which was largely intact, and I found this silver pen. I'll attempt to trace these. Okay, and then we'll mark. I'm assuming I'm going to have to probably retrim these, but don't know why that's notched, but I'm going to go ahead and notch it there too. Alright, that showed up pretty well. Let's see how well this cuts. Not very. Alright, so probably didn't cut like very well because that blade looks like a screwdriver. Let me get a sharper blade and a pair of scissors. The new blade, how much better. and there's actually more fabric than there is foam, so I'm going to trim that off, and then we'll go do a real quick test fit and cut the other side. So got some, where are we? Loctite spray adhesive. I've already done the other side, kind of a warm up. So I'm going to shoot a layer on here. And then I'm going to take our piece and I'm going to put a little bit on that. It says you only need one surface, but I don't plan on doing this again. This stuff is really sticky, so I kind of, what I found on the other side is try to get the bottom lined up without it sticking. And get it worked around all these cutouts. Of course, I'm sure you're looking right at my back. The bottom lined up, pressed against, into shape. And then work your way up, pressing it down because there's kind of a contour, so it needs to follow that contour. It's got these defrost tubes that need to get in there. So, there we go. And these tabs kind of bend down and hold it in place. All right, now that we've tried on the parts we're okay to screw up, I'll get set up and we'll put the factory one in. I am going to have to disconnect. Looks like the hood strut to get it up in there. So we'll get this set up and bring you back. All right, so we got the side pieces installed. They turned out all right. Still have to put the voltage regulator and all that back on. I'm prepared to do the back engine pad, so I've wrestled that thing in there, kind of dry run. And one thing I noticed, I had to take the hood strut off to get it around there. So there's a hole for this defroster. Apparently that was like something they changed or they forgot, because this side doesn't have it, but it looks symmetric. So I'm going to line this thing up and mark that and cut it out before we go to put it in. This is like the latest and greatest version, so I guess they just eliminated that over the years. And it has provisions for 2 hood struts, and this car only has 1. I guess the later Whale Tails had 2 struts to hold it open. So let me get that cut, and then we'll bring it back and we're ready to put it in. All right, so got that hole cut out. I've test fit a couple times, and this thing is probably more of a pain in the butt than the sides were. So I'm gonna go ahead and start across the top. And spray that. Whew. Some good stuff. Hopefully this hood doesn't fall and smack me on the head too. Deck lid, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to lace this pretty good because this thing's pretty much hanging upside down. So I'm going to try to line this up, at least with the edge, so this part will look decent. And then I'm going to work my way back and see how that goes. All right, I'm going to press those in. I'm going to go ahead and bend the tabs down so I don't cut myself anymore on these things. All right, now over on the side, you got to tuck around this tube, push it up in, and then there's a cutout for the support for the deck lid. Okay, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to start by making sure you can see everything or anything. Let me bring you up a little bit. All right, so that's what we're looking at now. I'm going to try to peel this back part off. Oh, come on, don't fail me now, can. It's about empty, but I've got another can. I think this is plenty though. All right. I'm just gonna ease that in there. Fortunate, good thing is you aren't going to see hardly any of this. You'll only see about this little part right there, so. As long as it stays adhered and doesn't like come off and get sucked up against the air intake, we'll be in good shape. All right. There we go. Now I just need to put the hood strut back on, the defrost tubes back in, and put the wiring back.